All right, for this next one, I don't want to hear the fucking complaint. Okay, y'all want to leave for a while and come back? That's fine. I don't need the fucking announcements. I'm leaving already. All right.
On September 10th, Charlie Kirk was giving a talk at Utah Valley University, and out of nowhere, he was shot dead, live, in front of a bunch of college kids, in front of his wife and his 2 children. And I don't think the country is ever going to be the same. Not only because of this horrific tragedy, but because of everything that followed. The dark, disturbing realization that we may not be on the same page as our coworkers, classmates, friends, neighbors, doctors, when it comes to the issue of murder. I was crashing out on Twitter a few days ago, just stream of consciousness posting about it, with run-on sentences and everything. 4 days later, I have a clearer head, but I still feel the exact same way. So we are going to talk about what happened, we're going to talk about the aftermath, and then we're going to get a little personal, because frankly, I don't see the country the same anymore, and I know a lot of you feel the exact same way, so we're going to talk about it after we talk about everything else. Charlie Kirk was not a healthcare CEO, he was not a powerful politician, and let me be 100% clear, I'm not saying this to say that it's okay when those people are murdered. My point is that those are positions of power that most people cannot relate to. Like, the average person is just so far removed from that world. But I think what happened to Charlie is hitting differently because, like I said on Twitter, he was just a fucking guy. He was a podcaster. He was a guy who talked about politics. He was a guy who had conservative beliefs. Not everyone knows a billionaire CEO or a powerful politician, but they do know somebody with conservative beliefs. They know somebody who holds some or many of Charlie Kirk's opinions. Because despite what people in their little bubble believe, his core ideology and what he believed is the same shit like your conservative boomer uncle on Facebook posts. You can only disagree with this if you are unfamiliar with Charlie Kirk, or you are unfamiliar with the many different branches and different ideologies of the right wing. Now, don't get me wrong, Charlie Kirk had many bad takes over the years. Like, for example, the 2 most popular quotes I see people posting are the one where he advocated for stoning gays and black women are too stupid to be pilots. But guess what? Both those things, the 2 most popular quotes.
I haven't seen the one about stoning gays. I see the one where he keeps saying that he wanted to get rid of the Civil Rights Act. So I didn't even know about that one.
People are posting to justify this guy being murdered are out of context. But
just to be clear, I have not seen anybody post it to justify him being murdered. So, like, even this one, it says he advocated stoning gays to death, just saying. I haven't seen this one, but that doesn't sound like somebody advocating for him to die, or saying that it's okay for him to die, or saying that this is, like, a good reason to kill him. The problem is that a bunch of people were running around saying that it was insane to say anything bad about the guy after he died, or that everybody should be super distraught about it, that if you weren't as sad as everybody else, that they were super offended by you not being sad enough. And that, like, a lot of people were coming out being like, sorry, like, I've got my reasons for why I'm not that sad, okay?
Idiots like Stephen King ran with it, then later had to apologize for spreading misinformation about a dead man. These people will build a straw man of you in their minds. They get so fucking mad about it that they celebrate the real you dying.
Is she gonna show the clip?
Lay with another man shall be stoned to death. Just saying. So, Miss Rachel, you quote Leviticus 19, love your neighbor as yourself. The chapter before affirms God's perfect law when it comes to sexual matters. It's very simple. So how do you love somebody? You love them so much to correct their error.
Yeah.
And so let's just, take the pride conversation out because people think it's an identification, but it's not, it's just sexual behavior. But it's, if you meet an alcoholic or you meet a drug addict.
Sexual behavior is a type of identification. Are you not capable of identifying different types of sexual behavior? What the fuck? I hate it when people are this stupid, dude.
Do you affirm their struggle? No. You say, you're better than this. Let's get you free from that. Let's get you free from that activity.
And remember what I said early on. Stephen King apologized because he didn't want to see his book sales take a dip. He believes that position you just heard espoused is violence. The left presents.
So yeah, so it sounds like he did say it. I don't know why they're acting like he didn't say it.
Horrifying. Are out of context, but idiots like Stephen King ran with it, then later had to apologize for spreading misinformation about a dead man. These people will build a straw man of you in their minds. They get so fucking mad about it that they celebrate the real you dying. Horrifying. But more importantly, even if everything was in context, who cares? Oh, he said this, oh, he said this. I don't care. There are many things he said that I disagree with. There are many things he said that I think are bad. Who cares? It is just a fact that nothing he said warranted his life being taken away. This is America. We have freedom of speech here. Unless you criticize a certain country, but for the most part, we have freedom of speech here. So after detaining not just one wrong guy, but 2 wrong guys, the FBI finally got the shooter. Only because his own father turned him in. I guess they were just too fucking busy not releasing the Epstein files to catch
Dude, Shoe, are you not capable of, like, maybe looking at things in context? What the hell? Are you maybe capable of, like, looking at things in context when a bunch of people are saying, hey, like, you need to be upset about this, and other people are like, yeah, sorry, I'm just not all that upset about it, and they're like, no, you have to be upset, fuck you, and then you're like, yeah, I just didn't really like the guy, and they're like, no, we're gonna dox you now, you motherfucker, you have no reason to dislike the guy, he's just a guy with a mic, that's it, he was just a random guy with a mic, and they're like, well, no, he did, like, advocate for, like, stoning gays, and you're over here later, like, they're saying it's okay to kill him because he said this. They think it's okay to kill him because he thinks it's okay to kill gay people. Just because he advocated for killing other people, now it's okay to kill him. It's okay to advocate for killing him, but they didn't even advocate for killing him. They didn't even say it was okay to kill him. It didn't happen. That in the context of the conversation that was happening at the time, tons of people were just kind of voicing their ideas, and it's weird because it seems like a lot of times when people just say things at random, Shoe0nhead totally okay with it. You just randomly start saying things. She's totally okay with it. These people just randomly want to say, even if that was the case, if we just did want to take this out of context and now look at, like, the way that people were being treated at the time and the way that the conversations were happening at the time, even if we did just want to look at it just totally out of context, normally she's just like, oh yeah, just want to say something random. Well, if it's true, then it's okay. But they never said that this was a justification for him getting murdered. It never happened. And in order for you to take that leap of logic, I would have to believe that you are just some, like, hardcore MAGA propagandist at this point. How the fuck can you just add that in totally unnecessarily without any reason? Just threw that in there. Now they think it's okay to murder him for no reason. Nothing in that would have led me to that conclusion that he was saying it was okay to kill him now.
A political assassin. It was this f***ass demon, Tyler Robinson, 22 years old, another irony-poisoned Reddit shooter who wrote a bunch of memes on the bullets, including, hey fascist catch, and
notices bulges, capital O-W-O, what's this question mark?
A lot of people were saying that the shooter was a Groyper, which is a far-right fan of the streamer Nick Fuentes, and I have no fucking idea where that came from. I'm gonna be so honest, I have seen no actual proof of this. And it doesn't make sense because someone further right than Charlie Kirk wouldn't call Charlie Kirk a fascist, and they wouldn't say he was hateful. Their proof is that the shooter once dressed up like the Slav squat meme from 2012, and they also found a separate meme of Pepe the Frog dressed like the Slav squat.
Well, she says she has no idea where it comes from. I was talking to one of my friends right after his death. There's somebody who's like a huge fan of Charlie Kirk, and he was saying, he's like, yeah,
Zed King tipped $5. Everyone claiming people are taking the stoning gays comment out of context are taking it out of context themselves by omitting the last portion of the quote. This chapter before affirms God's perfect law when it comes to sexual matters. He's specific.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what it sounded like Welchin was saying too, is that, yeah, like he's saying this is God's perfect law. That, yeah, of course, it sounds like he agrees with it. He's not just randomly saying, hey guys, this thing's in the Bible. Just wanted to let you know. Moving on. Yeah, it sounds like he agreed with it. And yeah, it's just like people when Destiny dies, there's going to be a lot of people who celebrate that motherfucker. Like, it's going to be all over the place. Shoe0nhead might be one of them. I don't know. But there's going to be a lot of people who celebrate that dude's death. He chose to be a very divisive figure on the internet. And so obviously a lot of people are just going to dislike him. And it is what it is. Charlie Kirk was not trying to be tame. He was not trying to be milquetoast. The guy was trying to be controversial. He was trying to push people's buttons. He was trying to make sure that he said the things that would piss people off and that would make them hate him. He was purposefully being provocative. So I don't think it's all that wild that afterwards people are provoked and you're like, oh, how dare you? Why would you be provoked? He was just a guy with a mic. But yeah, so I was talking to my buddy about this. And he said, he's like, it's got to be the left that killed him. And I was like, well, there's a lot of other possibilities right now. This is, again, like hours after it happened. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, who else would have killed him? And I was like, well, I know there's some people who are immediately going to jump to Israel because he was coming out pretty anti-Israel at the time. And I was like, I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm also not ruling it out just yet. But also, there's one group of people I know of that hate Charlie Kirk more than liberals. And that's Groypers. They literally built their entire brand off of hating Charlie Kirk. The name Groyper came from what they called the Groyper Wars, which was them harassing Charlie Kirk. That's what it was. The whole thing starts off as just them harassing Charlie Kirk. It eventually moved on to like Daily Wire hosts as well, but the initial thing was just Charlie Kirk. They hated Charlie Kirk. And so when a lot of people are sitting there thinking like, who all hated Charlie Kirk? Well, obviously liberals. And then there is the Groypers, yeah, and on top of that, like, generally, the majority of political murders come from the far right. But the Groypers are not one of those. As far as I know, I don't think they've ever had somebody who was part of their group that actually committed a single murder. I don't think there has been a Groyper who committed any political murders. But that is just where people's minds go. Is like, oh, another political shooting, another murder? Yeah, probably the far right. That's probably the far right. Who on the far right hates Charlie Kirk? Oh, the Groypers. Yeah. They hate him. Yes, they hate his guts. Just literally a month before. Right now, Nick Fuentes is talking about Charlie Kirk is a man of God, in that him and I may have had a lot of disagreements, but one thing we agreed on is that Jesus Christ was our Lord and Savior, and that's something that I really respected about him, no matter our differences. Literally like a month ago, Nick Fuentes was screaming at his camera saying that Charlie Kirk is not a Christian. Charlie Kirk has no right to ever call himself a Christian. That he is completely banned from Christianity, but now he wants to be on the Kirk train and is jumping on board. But yeah, just a little while ago, he was going off.
For Charlie Kirk to go on his show today and say, there is no forced starvation, here comes a rabbi to tell us why. without a shadow of a doubt, he is being paid by them. That is why he is doing damage control on their behalf, because he is on their payroll. And someone who is on the payroll of a foreign state making excuses for war crimes is not somebody that you can trust on anything. That's not somebody that you can take the good with the bad. How can anybody take him seriously as a Christian? How can you go up there and pretend to be a godly man? Why? Because you tell people to get married? Oh, look, I have my kid. You know, he posted the other day, he's on Fox and Friends, and his daughter runs up and jumps into his lap. And we're supposed to look at this carefully manicured public relations material and say, aw, what a family man. What a good Christian. He's practically a pastor, the way he evangelizes the young. Well, it's a good thing Charlie Kirk's daughter doesn't live in Gaza, because his daughter would have been fucking murdered. It's a good thing Charlie Kirk's daughter was born to a rich man in America who lies for a living and is paid by billionaires to do it, and wasn't born in Gaza, because if Charlie Kirk, the family man,
Did he just advocate for his daughter to get murdered? He just said he wants Charlie Kirk's daughter to get murdered.
him and his family were over there, if they were born in the wrong place at the wrong time, they would be getting shot in the back of the head for trying to get food and water while they were starving to death by the Israelis that they defend. And that's disgusting. It's especially disgusting in light of what he'll defend. Oh, look, his daughter's in the studio. She runs, oh, daddy. She runs up and jumps onto his lap. And then 2 days later, he goes on his show and says, they're babies. Babies are being starved to death. Well, Hamas is stealing the aid. They deserve it. It's collective guilt. They support Hamas. Release the hostages. It's sick. It's disgusting.
I don't know. At this point, I don't know that I'm going to hold much against other countries that are ready for collective guilt against Americans for voting for Donald Trump. Here it is. This is it.
Where's the condemnation from all the Christians? Where's Charlie Kirk on this? Charlie Kirk cannot call himself a Christian anymore. Sorry, you forfeited that. I do not want to hear, and you cannot allow Charlie Kirk to go to one more public event, one more question and answer, one more ask me anything, without being protested, without being shouted down, without being interrogated about this. This guy goes around from campus to campus in the most artificial and phony and fake way, talking about, oh, God made me very blessed that I control $500 million. Oh, I'm so blessed. I'm so rich and I'm so blessed. And oh, God's been so good to me. I'm such a Christian. Oh, the Lord gave me the Sabbath. I take Saturday off. You sit there and call yourself a Christian and then you make excuses for the genocide of 2 million people? Seriously? You stand there and purport to be an evangelist like Billy Graham? Oh, you're the latest Billy Graham? You're our generation's America's pastor? Why? Because you said the right words? Because you said, God bless, God bless. Do propaganda on their behalf. It's not good enough. You got to go, dude. You got to go.
Whoa, he said he's got to go. He said Charlie Kirk's got to go. Why would anybody think that they did this?
To find out Charlie Kirk is not the patriot that he says he is. And so I look at what happened last night and I think to myself, this is totally a doable operation. You know, Charlie Kirk in the grand scheme of things is just some retarded idiot. The dog is terrified. I had to go upstairs and reassure him because I'm screaming at my screen, calling Charlie Kirk a bitch and everything. The contrast could not be more clear. Charlie Kirk is a totally unexceptional human being. A moral struggle that's happening on the higher dimension, right? Which is Christ versus the devil. Who does Charlie Kirk serve? You know, is he really a Christian? Is he really Christ-like when he supports foreign wars and Israel and all this? Look at the people he's taking money from. You know, so the guy's a fake Christian. The guy's not a patriot. He hates our country. He's un-American. Let's focus all our firepower on Charlie Kirk. Why are we doing this? It's because Charlie Kirk is a fake patriot, a fake Christian, and he hates his people. He's anti-white. This is our angle. We talk about Charlie Kirk's dual allegiance to Israel. The almighty Oz, the massive head with the tiny face behind the curtain, Charlie Kirk, lording over the conservative movement. Remember, the goal is to expose the globalism, the fake conservatism of Charlie Kirk. People see that Charlie Kirk is not a real conservative. He is not a real nationalist. He is not a real Christian. And that is simply the truth. We humiliated Charlie Kirk last night. We took Gotham's White Knight and we brought him down to our level. We didn't exactly flip him, but we definitely humiliated him. We took one of their best and we made him a laughingstock. Charlie Kirk is not an honest broker, not a conservative. He exists, and Turning Point USA exists, to control the conversation. Charlie Kirk was totally unhinged, and I think the guy has Asperger's, so he might have trouble with that. It has to play into this narrative, has to play into the framing that Charlie Kirk and Turning Point are not right-wing, they're not conservative. Charlie Kirk gets asked a tough question, and he reverts back to Israel, God bless Israel, Israel's the best, He malfunctions, he can't do it, because I think he has Asperger's. I believe that. We acknowledge that Charlie Kirk is not conservative, he's destroying the country, and we can all agree that we have to put a stop to that, right? Charlie Kirk is a retard and a coward.
He was just pointing at a... Bro, you see it says Groyper War Memo. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, they built their entire fucking brand off of hating Charlie Kirk.
At an organizational level, we will cause problems for Charlie Kirk.
We had our disagreements. Where we did agree is that he would go to these college campuses and proclaim the name of Jesus Christ. And ultimately, that is why he was killed. The gunmen that killed him, they hated him because of his defense of Christian morality. Charlie Kirk cannot call himself a Christian anymore. Sorry, you forfeited that. I do not want to hear, and you cannot allow Charlie Kirk to go to one more public event, one more question and answer, one more ask me anything, without being protested, without being shouted down, without being interrogated about this. This guy goes around from campus to campus in the most artificial and phony and fake way, talking about, oh, God made me very blessed that I control $500 million.
And it doesn't make sense because someone further right than Charlie Kirk wouldn't call Charlie Kirk a fascist, and they wouldn't say he was hateful. Their proof is that the shooter once dressed up like the Slav squat meme from 2012, and they also found a separate meme of...
She literally repeated, like, word for word what I said. She literally repeated it word for word. They wouldn't call him a fascist, and they wouldn't call him hateful if they're farther right than him.
Of Pepe the Frog dressed like the Slav squat meme. Therefore, the shooter is a Groyper. That is like seeing a photo of the shooter dressed like a clown, and then seeing this image of Pepe the Frog dressed like a clown, and then being like Groyper confirmed. What is the connection? The shooter didn't even post the Pepe image. Like, where did the Pepe even come from? Just a bunch of liberal boomers not understanding memes. The other thing I saw was the shooter had Republican parents, and therefore the shooter must be Republican, which is just funny because we all see what these people say about their Republican parents every Thanksgiving. But I guess we'll see. It's September 14th when I am recording this, so maybe more things will come out. Editor Shoe here, more things came out. Definitely not a Groyper. At the end of the day, he could have every single one of my or your opinions. It ultimately doesn't matter. One person may have pulled the trigger, but then we saw the reaction of many.
We think that Charlie Kirk just got shot in the neck. Hey, ooh, ah.
I'm not saying she deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
Yo, they got Charlie Kirk, bro. I've never been happier.
Never believe the reason I'm smiling. And it has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. Nothing to do with...
I would say pour one out for Kirky boy, but I don't waste good beer on little bitches.
Rest in peace, bozo!
Charlie Kirk just got put down like a fucking dog in Utah.
I do not, and I will not, ever feel bad when bad people get what the fuck they deserve.
I just heard that someone shot Charlie Kirk? Thoughts and prayers.
Oh no, someone shot Charlie Kirk. Look, I don't know who needs to hear this today, but that's how you pick up a woman.
Homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. Fuck your homie dead. He got shot in the head. got Charlie and not that. We got Charlie and not that.
I heard someone got shot today. I had a tummy ache this morning. Stay alive out there.
The sympathy for Charlie Kirk is f***ing weird. You don't have to like violence, but I'm confused as to how you thought the revolution was going to be magically bloodless.
I've been saying we need to bring back political assassinations. I don't feel bad, and I don't think that everyone deserves the right to free speech. I think some people should be afraid to express their opinion in public.
I didn't like what he said, and I didn't like his opinions, and I don't really give a shit that he's dead.
The best part of this whole goddamn thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing. It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great.
There are a lot of people that are like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
Charlie Kirk just got shot.
I saw the video before they even put out the confirmation. There was no chance that he made it through that. This wasn't the one we were hoping for, but a welcome surprise nonetheless.
I'm surprised that y'all didn't get rid of him sooner. And I'm surprised that you guys aren't getting rid of more people. Like, don't stop with him. Don't let him be the end dog.
You guys. Why are you putting this on everybody else? I guess black people are doing their fair share of taking people out, so fair enough.
Get rid of them all. His wife deserves to go too. Y'all keep on talking about his wife and kids. They need to go too because they're carrying on that mentality and that lineage. Like, get rid of the whole family. I'm so sorry. Why did you guys stop with him?
There were thousands of videos like that. Some of these people posting with their full names and faces, with hundreds and thousands of likes. Thousands of tweets celebrating it with 500,000 likes. And it's important to remember that all of those likes are a real person. Millions of people in this country apparently believe the acceptable response to speech they don't like is murder. This wasn't just a bunch of fringe blue hair SJWs or whatever. They were teachers, professors, doctors, HR workers, healthcare workers, nurses, pediatricians, people who work with kids, people's classmates, roommates. They are teachers showing our children the gory, horrifying video of Charlie's murder on repeat. The hippy-dippy "in this house we believe" shitlib mask was ripped off, and underneath was nothing but psychopathic bloodlust. I have seen people on the right celebrate the death of people they disagree with. I've seen it. I remember Heather Heyer in 2017. But I also remember the whole internet, left and right, coming together to disavow and mock the few dozen people from Stormfront who were celebrating her death. This is different. It's never been like this before. It's never been this much. It's never been this brazen. Normal people have to log into like an alternate Twitter account where they can post their more unorthodox opinions.
What? What the fuck? It's never been this brazen. It's never been this amount. This chick, has she never met Republicans in our country? Where has she been? Where's she been the whole time? What the fuck? Every time a Democrat dies or gets shot at or somebody attempts to take their fucking life, every time the memes are all over the place. What are you talking about? The president was posting memes. His sons were posting memes about Nancy Pelosi's husband getting put in the hospital by getting beaten in the head with a hammer. Like, the amount of memes that were coming out about George Floyd over the last 5 years. What do you mean? Yeah, it only counts when the left does it, because the left is expected to be held to a higher standard. So it's totally bad. Horribly, totally bad when the left does it. just expected from the right at this point. So they're just a bunch of little kids. The president of the United States he's just a little kid.
And these people are out here, full face, full name, like hell yeah, murder. What? The smug, unearned confidence these people have to be openly sociopathic with their full name and face because they live under the pathetic delusion of being on the right side of history needs to end. They will blame you for your death because words are violence. Words are violence, so them killing you is just self-defense. That's why they're using Kyle Rittenhouse as some kind of gotcha. Oh, if you don't condone political violence, why do you support Kyle Rittenhouse? They fundamentally don't see the difference between killing someone over speech and killing someone over self-defense, because these are the same things to them. Also, I'm going to be the one to point it out, because of course I am. I saw nobody else do it. Why are most of them women? Most of the people celebrating are women. Like, it's a good, like, 80-20 ratio all over the internet. What is going on, ladies? Basically, the whole country is shook because last year they realized how many people would celebrate the murder of a president, and this year they realized how many people would celebrate the murder of them. At the end of the day, this is all the inevitable conclusion of the punch a Nazi thing from like 2017. Do you guys remember that? We always knew it was a slippery
I brought this up numerous times as well, the punch a Nazi meme.
Slope. That's why we were against it. And they always say this dumb shit like, if you don't want to be called a Nazi, stop being a Nazi. Even a congressman from my state, New York, was like, oh, if you want to stop being called a fascist, you should stop being a fascist.
Okay, that's true though.
Yeah, that's great. Except you've called everyone and their mother a fascist and a Nazi for the past...
That person, that congressman did?
like 15 years. And I see a lot of progressives in my audience like, Shoe, you're not like Charlie Kirk. You're not a fascist. Here are all the things I have been called Nazi, fascist, reactionary for over the last few years. Would you like to see? I have been making this list since 2023. Let's go. Let's just read this together.
Okay. This is just dumb. Like, this is just literally the fucking internet. This is literally just being on the internet. Yes, we have all been called Nazis, fascists, pedophiles, groomers, like every single one of us, all the fucking time. Yes, that is the internet. That's the way it works. I don't know.
Real quick. Mocking/criticizing pop feminism. Believing adults can do whatever they want, being pro-free speech, being liberal, talking to people I disagree with, being friends with people I disagree with, following people on Twitter I disagree with, supporting Bernie Sanders, that one came from the right, being registered independent, criticizing Joe Biden, criticizing the Democratic Party, not being attracted to feminine men, not hating men in general, criticizing Canada's MAID program, not taking the COVID vaccine, criticizing the FBI, criticizing the CIA, believing the CIA killed JFK,
hell, I didn't get to this, but Destiny, that scumbag piece of filth, celebrating Charlie's death and saying more Republicans need to die to intimidate us, that's terrorism. That's calling for terrorism. Elon Musk is calling for his arrest. You got free speech, but you don't have saying we go out and target and kill people to silence them. That's racketeering, that's terrorism, that's terroristic threats. And I'm telling you, I just got to guys, I'm not going to be too happy very soon. People are sick of this crap. And he talks about he stalked people and planned to kill them and their families. All this other stuff, try to act all scary and tough, those little wild.
This just started, dude. It just started playing. I didn't do anything. It just started. It just randomly just starts talking. I'm like, what the fuck? Did she add this in? I hate Twitter, dude. The players always just start randomly playing out of nowhere. Yeah, the idea that she's doing, oh, I've been called all of these names, therefore we can't call anybody a fascist. The Shoe0nhead was called a fascist now, guys, so we can't call Mussolini or Hitler fascist anymore now, because some people call everybody everything on the internet.
Working class saying based, making a joke about Joe Biden eating ice cream, making a joke about Pete Buttigieg being born in a test tube, making jokes in general, Being cis, being white, being a woman, being a cis white woman, telling someone to take a shower, not being anti-gun, not being fat, being monogamous, liking Huey Long, celebrating the 4th of July, supporting Assange, criticizing the movie Cuties, praising the movie Sound of Freedom, being against pedophilia, being against the destigmatization of pedophilia, being against children watching porn, being critical of kink at Pride, being against children performing at drag shows, not being racist, I swear to God, being a class reductionist, saying biological sex, mocking people for debating the ethics of necrophilia, my username, owning a pet rabbit, questioning the Bush administration's involvement in 9/11, growing up in a Catholic family, eating meat, wanting to get married, wanting to have children, being married, having children, being at January 6th to interview people, saying it's okay if someone doesn't want to date a porn star, not wanting to do OnlyFans, criticizing Kanye West, criticizing late-stage capitalism, criticizing the billionaire class, criticizing Israel, criticizing eating the bugs, criticizing a fashion company for being creepy, you'll remember that one, supporting nuclear energy, parentheses, it's toxic masculinity, supporting TikTok trad wives, supporting one-income households, supporting UBI, supporting farmers, supporting truckers, not celebrating October 7th, supporting Palestine, not liking brutalism, saying colorblind anti-racism was good, wanting to date someone who has a good relationship with their parents, not liking Indian food, saying men and women are different but complement each other, being followed by JD fans on Twitter, saying Hillary Duff is cool, making fun of Reddit, and for Asmongold reacting to me, criticizing American imperialism, wearing a bow in my hair, liking VTubers, and now being anti-death.
Charlie Kirk was a fucking Nazi. He was a fucking Nazi.
I mean, literally, I've been called all of those things, and I including a cis white woman, but I'm not a cis white woman, and I've been called a fascist and a Nazi for those things as well. I've never been in favor of UBI. I still get accused of it. I get accused of being a leftist all the time and being a socialist all the time, being a communist all the time, being a Marxist all the time. Not any of those things, pretty obviously, pretty staunchly in favor of capitalism. I've been called a populist, been called all of the worst names in the book.
And you know what kind of Nazi is the best Nazi? A dead one.
I am a better person than you for celebrating the death of a Nazi. And actually, it's pretty weird that you're not, and simultaneously asking people to have empathy for the Nazi.
Nazis have children and families.
Or the Nazi.
Right? But Nazis also get shot in the neck.
They don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you a Nazi so they can kill you. Now, I'm going to talk about my personal feelings of the situation because I know a lot of you...
Yeah, that was a fucking insanely stupid statement from Blair White. It was really stupid. I think I had one of the top comments under that. It was a really, really dumb statement from Blair White, and the fact that she just threw it in there with no context is fucking retarded. Again, there are like very niche groups like the ones that you're looking at on TikTok that are just these crazy dumb leftists that are all engaging in the edgy Olympics trying to see who can out edge each other. But again, it's the fucking internet. Like people like when it happens to you, like it makes sense to be upset about it or to like argue against it, but to use this line of argumentation as though this has anything to do with Charlie Kirk or what's being said about him, like, why not just debunk it and be like, nah, bruh, here's why you're wrong. Here's why he's not a Nazi. Here's why he wasn't a fascist. Why not do that? The fact that you go down this line of argumentation almost makes it seem like it's more likely that he was probably a fucking Nazi because you refuse to engage with the idea that that might be the case. Just kind of running as fast as you can away from even being like, nah, here's why he wasn't a Nazi. That makes me feel like it's even more likely. If I didn't know who he was, that's...
You can relate. I know a lot of you have been feeling the exact same way, so I will try and put it into words for you. I have friends who were friends with Charlie Kirk, but I didn't personally know him. We follow each other on Twitter. I've been to the TPUSA Amerifest in 2021. I actually went there planning to make a video making fun of it, but I had so much fun and met so many friends that I'm still friends with to this day. So That video never happened. I disagreed with him all the time. You can literally go to our Twitter interactions. I was always correcting him about, like, Bernie Sanders. I made an egg look like his face. It is safe to say I was no fan. But this has really shaken me in a way that I absolutely did not expect. These last few days after what happened, I kept going to every single, like, lefty, liberal, left-wing person I know and, like, checking out what they have been saying about this. And besides maybe, like, 4 or 5, every single one was being an unhinged psychopath about this. Or saying some backhanded shit like, this is why we need gun control, which, first of all, we were just watching a whole bunch of people celebrate killing someone over political differences. You are never taking our guns now. That is not happening. I felt like I was in the middle of the ocean. I was trying to, like, grasp onto a flotation device, checking all of these accounts for their take, like, be normal, be normal. Nothing. Nobody. I'm just drowning in a sea of evil, apparently. Maybe
yeah, I'm sorry, but again, this is what all these people are doing to try to gaslight everybody, is they're taking everything out of context. And I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if these people are smart enough to do this intentionally. But the problem is that, again, there is a larger conversation being had at the time. He dies. A bunch of people immediately start posting videos all over the place saying these people are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Then they start saying it's time for civil war. Then they start saying, hey, we're going to dox all of these people. Then they start saying, hey, we just got this many people fired. And they just continue to, like, ramp up the violent rhetoric while whining and crying about violent rhetoric from the other side, while they make up 90% of the political murders. And the culmination of this is the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, Charlie Kirk's wife, every major conservative figure out there coming out and saying the left is violent. The left is trying to kill us. The left is committing all of the murders. The transes are committing all of the murders. They're all out to murder us. And it's just a stupid fucking narrative. Again, because statistically, that's obviously not the case. On top of that, the fact that, like, trans people, again, are like 300 times more likely to be a victim of an attack than they are to actually attack somebody. But now you are here helping push this narrative instead of actually engaging with that idea that there's all of these people running around pushing more violent rhetoric from the right. And to completely ignore that, while this is coming from all of the right-wing leaders, so the biggest names on the right. And you might say, oh, but Tom, you have to understand how hard it is for a lot of these people to hear all of these people cheering on his death. Sure. But those are not Democrat leaders. There's no Democrat politicians doing this. There's no major, nobody with above 1 million followers is out here celebrating his death. But we have dozens and dozens of people above 1 million followers on the right calling for civil war. And to just completely ignore that part and just like, oh, hey, these few randoms who don't have any fucking followers on TikTok are smiling while saying that Charlie Kirk died, while the other side is literally arguing for war right now and saying that they're going to war and trying to pushing just insane amounts of misinformation about trans people and the left and violence. You are just the right-wing propagandist at that point. Like, and you may not feel that way. Maybe you don't feel as though you're a right-wing propagandist. You are. That's what you're doing. You are pushing right-wing propaganda when you just ignore people calling for war. Elon Musk, 122 million followers, calling for war. Trump's sons, calling for war. Andrew Tate, 11 million followers, calling for war. Libs of TikTok, 5 million followers, calling for war. But I see you focusing a lot on what Destiny had to say with his 300,000 followers on Twitter, less than 300,000 followers on Twitter, and his 800,000 followers on subscribers on YouTube. But here you are with your 2.3 million subscribers doing the same thing. Just ignoring all the people calling for civil war. There's no way. There's no way that you can just sit there and ignore this. Just, oh yeah, just a normal day in America. People are calling for civil war, but someone died. And people are being mean on the internet. We need to focus on that. A person died and people are being mean on the internet. Oh, fuck. Let's not even recognize the calls for civil war from the violent people who are committing all of the political attacks and who constantly celebrate every single time a Democrat gets attacked. Like, this is insane. I can't live in this freaking country with people who act like these randoms that nobody knows on TikTok smiling while they say that Charlie Kirk died is somehow a bigger deal than the dozens of leaders in the Republican Party with millions and millions of followers calling for civil war. There's no way. This just doesn't make sense. You cannot explain this. You cannot make this make sense. You have to be a fucking propagandist.
I was just blind up until now. Maybe they changed. Maybe I changed. Is everyone going crazy or am I going crazy? I don't know. All I know is it is clear how they reacted to this is how they would react to me, my family, my friends, you, your family, your friends that have ever stepped out of line from the nebulous, ever-changing definition of progressive. These are people I thought were level-headed. They were left-wing, but you know, like they were one of the good ones. Like, you can joke with them, you know, they weren't those like woke SJWs, like they were cool, we can disagree and still be friends. You know. Your friend wouldn't celebrate you being murdered, of course. But if they would celebrate an exact clone of you that wasn't you, that had all the same opinions, or some of the opinions that you have, if they would celebrate that clone being murdered, they're not your friend. I'm friends with people who are friends with Charlie, and I see how they are completely broken about this. Seeing them like this, and then at the same time my other friends posting shit like, "Rip bozo." It's just sick. It's just sick shit. Personally, I would rather live in a world full of Charlie Kirks who would sit down and debate than a world full of people who agree with me but would murder people who don't. Because if it's now normalized to just murder...
Again, that is the right side. The right are the people who are murdering everybody. The right is the side that is murdering all the people who disagree with them. That's them. The right is the side that's attacking all the people for political reasons. They commit 90 to 99% of political murders. I don't know, like, how you sit here, like, I would rather live with all of the murderers than the people who laugh about the murders. This is not a sane person. It is gross to laugh at people's death. It's gross to sit around giggling and laughing about Charlie Kirk's death. It's fucked up. That's about all you had to say. Like, that's it. Just like, yeah, that's fucked up. Moving on. President just made it illegal to burn the American flag and threatened numerous television outlets to take away their licenses if they said mean things about him or said things that he just didn't like. The thing with Jimmy Kimmel is, like, he just said MAGA's denying this guy is on the right. He didn't say that the guy was on the right. He didn't say Charlie Kirk deserved it. He didn't say anything else. But he did make fun of Donald Trump when they were asking him how he was taking it. And he says, "Oh, I'm taking it great. We've got a ballroom being constructed right over there, and it's going to be amazing." Now you got to lose your license for that, bro. You can't be saying stuff like that. You can't show Donald Trump saying the things that he said. And this is the same thing that's going on with a lot of people showing clips of Charlie Kirk, where people are like, probably a lot of people had no idea who this guy was. They have no idea who he is, and they're like, wait, why are there so many people who just dislike this person? And somebody puts out a clip, and they're like, well, here's a reason why. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you guys, oh, they called for him to die. They want him to die. They're saying he deserves to die now. No, but it makes sense. Like, there's some shit that he said, but playing his own words is wild. Like, it is wild that, yes, you play his own words and people get upset about it now. And she says you just play his own words, and she says that you're advocating for his death.
Murder people who disagree with you politically. We don't have a society. Like, that's it. It's over. But some of these people in particular, like, why the fuck are you celebrating? You! They think you're a fucking Nazi too. They'll make a nice compilation of all the hot takes you've had over the years and spread it around to justify your murder. You don't get it, do you? We are all Charlie Kirk. I have been doing this for 11 years. I have been harassed, doxxed, threatened, whatever, you name it, for 11 years by the left. And it hasn't moved me an inch, because that's not how politics works. That's lunch table politics. I've talked about this before. People on your side being mean to you doesn't mean you overnight change your opinions on, like, healthcare. It doesn't work that way. I still have all my economic left opinions. I'm for strong social safety nets, workers' rights, unions, wealth caps, whatever. That has not changed. This is not me leaving the left, because frankly, I don't even know how to do that. This is me and many, many people looking around us at our so-called allies and realizing that even though we might share some, like, political opinions, we fundamentally do not have the same values or morals. And are we really allies if we agree on, like, taxes, but don't agree on the sanctity of human life? I don't know. The way we view death now is just crazy. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the desensitization, in part thanks to the internet. You used to have to go out of your way to see gore and stuff like that, and now you're just scrolling through Twitter and you see someone set on fire if someone gets stabbed on a train. And when someone like Charlie dies, it's not even real to people anymore. Like, it's like a movie or show. Oh, that character died? Good, I hated that character. Like, no, that was a real human being with a family and kids, actually. Like, that was someone's son. The internet has turned real people into nothing but cartoon characters that disappear when you close an app. I remember for years people would be like, oh, when you have kids, you'll change your mind on XYZ, and I was like, no, that's not gonna happen, no. And they were right. Almost overnight, you stop being so selfish, nihilistic. You stop having utopian fantasies of wanting to live in a post-capitalist society. And all you want is for the world to be safe. For the world to be safe and normal. And all that matters is your family and your community. And then your country, and then the world. You know? But we can't save the world. You can't. But you can save the people around you. You can't say to these people who are celebrating this and justifying this, you can't say, what if that was your dad or your brother getting killed for their opinions, because they've already cut those people off. They've already cut those people off out of their lives. And posting videos and pictures of Charlie's wife and young kids will not move these people at all, because they hate their lives. They hate their families. They are atomized bug people. They are the unfortunate product of modern society, and I feel bad for them. I do. I pity them, and I wish I could help them. But I have bugman fatigue. And for the people who will come at me in a blind rage with a list of all of Charlie Kirk's, like, biggest hits to convince me that I should hate him and should not mourn him, if you thought what Charlie Kirk said is wrong, you could have debated him. He was one of the few people left willing to do that. And now he's gone.
One of the few people left on the right who was willing to do that. There's very few of them who are actually willing to debate their ideas, and the few who do debate college kids instead of actual debaters or actual people who know what the fuck they're talking about. There's an important distinction there, because there's tons of debaters all over the left who are dying to debate people like Charlie Kirk. He just refuses to do it. So or refused.
I'm a fan of free speech, but I'm worried whoever comes after Charlie won't be. Like, even from a political standpoint, not even a personal human standpoint, why are you celebrating, like, the most popular college Gen Z political pundit dying? Like, why are you celebrating him becoming a martyr? Say goodbye to that young male vote. All the liberal Joe Rogans in the world are not fixing this. I just hope for the sake of this country that political violence does not become normalized, does not become a thing. I really don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see retaliation. I don't want to see us fall into a civil war. I don't know. This has all been extremely black.
Oh, it got mentioned. Holy crap. Wow. It got mentioned, guys. It got mentioned. Honorable mentions, Civil War. Moving on.
Pilling. I think I'm gonna take a break from politics. I don't know. I'm a YouTuber. Like, I'm not a political pundit, right? I'm not. My goal here, my purpose here is to entertain, is to make people laugh. That is what I'm going to do. That is what I will continue to do. The news cycle will move on.
It's a hilarious video, Shoe. You're doing a great job. I laughed so much.
The world will move on. Charlie Kirk's kids won't move on. His daughter won't move on. His daughter does not have a dad anymore. And that fucking sucks. That fucking sucks. I don't know what else to say. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to my crash out. If you're new here, my videos usually are not like this. They're actually nothing like this. They have music in the back. They're fun. They're goofy. Things are just not fun and goofy right now. But I promise you the next video will be. Yeah, thank you for your attention to this matter. Bye.
Yeah, again, I mean, if you were somebody who was paying attention to the endless amounts of violent rhetoric that's been coming from Donald Trump while his constituents commit all of the political murders, and then you watch after Democrat after Democrat after Democrat gets attacked or murdered, and they all turn it into memes, and they make up new conspiracy theories to make some way that their side wasn't responsible and it was Antifa or it was the Jews or something like that, so that it's never them. But then as soon as somebody on their side even gets shot at or shot, they immediately start saying that the left is coming after us. The left owns this one. The mainstream media has to take responsibility before they even know who did it. It's what happened? Like, people making fun of Charlie Kirk's death is still gross. But when you've been watching the right do it over and over and over and over and over, not like once a year, but numerous times a year, every year, for years and years and years, this does not seem all that surprising.